Another glorious day in the Pacific Northwest. And this morning I was reminiscing about the first team that I ever worked with 20 years ago. No, 20 years is a very, very long time, but it really was one of the best teams that I've ever worked with. That sounds a lot like bragging, but here's why I think we were one of the best teams that I ever worked with. And to me, it really takes me back to some of the revelations that came about in the Cisco Best Team Study. So, number 3 on the Cisco Best Team Study was everybody in my team has a shared understanding of excellence. So we were a group of 20-somethings 20 years ago, and we worked without a training leader for more than 3 months. And what seems like an apparent lack of leadership direction or management really turned out to be a discovery, I think, for ourselves as well as for the organization, because everything worked with great precision, efficiency, and we were the most collaborative that I've ever seen a team be. We had healthy respect for each other. We had tremendous hunger and desire to work hard and, do really well. One of the lessons that I learned from a leader that I worked with in the same organization a little bit earlier was, whatever you do, do it right the first time, every time, all the time. And that's a lesson that sort of stayed with me all these years. And I think this team really embodied that, not in the sort of destructive pursuit of perfection. It wasn't that at all. I think it was a healthy striving for doing everything to the best of our ability every single time. And number 2 on the Best Team Study was my teammates have my back. And think about it. I mean, you would think, or I would think 20 years ago, gosh, did we really have the maturity or the wisdom? Did we have the compassion and kindness to be great self-leaders? And the answer on hindsight is that we did. We did. We really had each other's back. We supported each other through good times and difficult times. We stood by each other in crisis, and we sort of sang together in joy. And that sounds so idealistic, right? But the truth is, we really were like that. And I think the foundation was built on something so solid, so strong, that we're still in touch with each other. So many of us are still in touch with each other. We follow each other's lives, and we're there for each other in good times and bad times, even now, 20 years later. And the number 1 thing on the Cisco Best Team Study was I have an opportunity to use my strengths every day. So again, we would train for hours together, 5 days a week, sometimes even 6 days, because the role demanded that, the volumes demanded that. And I don't really remember feeling miserable, and I don't feel like I remember anybody saying that they were miserable. Sometimes we would work 12 hours, sometimes we would work 15 hours. And the easy way to sort of justify that is to say, well, we were 20-something, we really didn't have we didn't have responsibilities, we didn't have families to take care of. But I think it was more because of the joy we found in working together. And every single one of us was in service of what we absolutely loved. And I remember spending hours designing the content, delivering the content, coming back from the classroom and then looking at how can I refine this even more? How can I make sure that this is top-notch? This is the best that we can give our participants. And this is true of every single one of us in the team. I saw this, I observed this, and I saw that people were thriving. And today, when I look back on the whole standout strengths philosophy, I realize how true that is for the strengths framework. And that when we have an opportunity to do what we absolutely love, we do thrive. And I'm going to close this message today by something that Marcus Buckingham shared a few years ago at the Revealed series at Cisco. And he said, the point of work is to find that which you love. And my goodness, did we find that 20 years ago in my first ever job, and the first ever job for so many of my colleagues. So a reminder once again to all of you watching, the point of work is to really find that which you love. And when you do, every single day is a celebration of your strengths.